Yeah, I will always win it, cause my time has no limits, yeah. The outcome doesn't matter, I'll choose when time will shatter, yeah. I won't give up, I know what to do.
Go back. Hey Google, turn on Winnie. Hey Google, turn on all the lights. Hey Google, turn them all to blue. Hey Google, turn Landy to turquoise. Yeah. Right. Let's play one. It really goddamn fucking notifications. See that? S's. It's S. Whoa. Almost so blue. Hey Google, turn all the lights to orange. Turn all the lights off. Hey Google, turn on all the lights. Hey Google, turn Wally orange. Oh. Hey Google, turn all the lights white. Hey Google, turn Wally dim.
The time has come to prune the tree.
Hey Google, turn all the lights to 50%. Hey Google, turn all the lights to 50%.
Death to all betrayers.
Death to all betrayals. Say I was gonna pick one out of there. Jesus. Let's do this a little bit up right there. Right there. Cat. Cat. I was gonna be Yunara. And I thought, my ultimate's more helpful for the team if I am not Yunara. Set Thresh Smolder. He will be a problem. He will be a uncooked fishies.
I have all manner of marvelous things. But that is...
I go.
Win one for trust is a weapon.
Attacking so slow.
You've got my magic evil. Endure!
Die!
Flame
Good
purified.
job.
Remain! I bring the light wrath!
Bow, bow, bow. Step.
Be still! Heal by fire.
What I said, cuck. Cuck. See, in this cap, feels like it's got to be down.
Reflects your torment.
We are set in motion.
I'm gonna go crit build. I don't want you to clip that.
Flame purified.
That was good.
Heal by fire.
I will stand. I need something. I need something. Nice one. Nice. Nice Morgana. Oh, what was that? With my mum? Boyfriend? Don't you worry. I'm just a big rock. You don't need to be afraid of me. Just in case you were sickers. Nah.
Flame purified.
Okay. Tap. Piss off, ghost.
The wounds of betrayal never.
Betrayer! I'll take that.
Heal by fire.
Our aid is not born.
Don't you worry about me.
Flame purifies. Remain.
Callista. Yes. That was our next.
Drown in holy fire.
I got collector. Need to stop that clipping. Gonna do my head in. All I do is bump it. Good job.
Welcome to the dig site. You kill them.
So what I go for my crit build is I go collector, hurricane into Lord Doms. No, don't believe you will hook me. No.
We can be ended. Find them.
Yeah, fine. Oh, he hooked me. I touched this earlier. It shocked me how painful it is.
Heal by fire.
Heal by fire.
Finally, a
We
customer.
began as one.
Finally, a customer.
Something dangerous. Oh, shiny.
Flame purified.
Get buffed, boy.
Sister.
You will be taken.
I will confront everything.
We are not.
Remain.
Our task is up.
Nice.
Flame purified.
Look what they did. We are needed.
Heal by fire.
Our spears are precise. We shall bring your killers to
Flame purified.
We remain true to our purpose. Return our spear. Feel our
My purse then, Jesus Christ.
we never miss.
Heal by fire.
We
Careful,
will
look like-
remember your loyalty.
Jesus, that's not me. Very odd. Odd how they got me, but they did. Hmm. Anyone build an army yet? Not yet. And he's got AP. Okay. Right. Hold up.
You will be taken.
3 stacks to slow ya.
Meet our eyes.
Go for the screamer.
We are called.
Flame purifies.
Got a feeling if that attack lands on me, he's going to do like half my health. If he lands on me, it does half my health.
It is yours. You share in our success.
Heal by fire.
Our will.
Not again.
Yes. Punish the betrayers.
No.
Let's see how many spears you can endure.
Flame purifies.
Our spear.
Heal by fire.
They've been double kills, man. Be all day.
Flame purifies.
Our hate burns. Nothing is more heinous than treachery.
Remain.
Being watched by a stinky wiener. A little stinky wiener is watching me. Stinky.
We
Heal
never.
by fire.
Fuck it, I'll go in with you. Let's fucking go.
Flame purifies.
Stinky wiener. And someone. Oh, there we go. Just a cactus. scale. Nice.
So many people have died here. I should call this place Murder Bridge.
Its edge is keen.
Kyle pussy. Kyle.
You could never bear our burden.
Mamma mia, Giscasi.
Soft are the targets
Whatever
of
that
our
is.
spears.
Just clear away, please.
We had a name once.
You're welcome.
One thought. To our side. No more. We never.
Enter. Is that going to be a pentakill?
We are set in motion.
Government did well. It's good having another threat with your Callista. Frees you up to do some stuff. I'll give him more than honor. A plus. Okay. I've got 5 notifications. Where? Why didn't you know I was speaking, lad? Fucking, you're too quiet. You are too quiet, lad. Wait, I was saying you had a stinky penis. Are you coming on? Oh, he's here.
Mate, turn your fucking mic up, bro.
I fucking have.
No, you haven't.
But I have.
Well, you might have done, but it's still got fucking hear you.
Why can't you hear me? Why are you so deaf?
Hear you in the Discord, I just can't hear you in Twitch. That's all.
I'm gonna have to fucking check now, aren't I? See this pair of S's we got here? That's all we get. Pay no attention to my A plus I just got. Should have been an S. I was robbed. Absolutely fucking robbed.
So what's that?
I just got an A plus. I should have been an S. I was robbed.
Well, no, I mean they don't lie with their scores, do they?
I was 20 and 7, so I think they were. I was 20 and 7, so I think they were.
Nah.
I don't know.
No, there must be something else.
I think
No, there must be
I think my volume's alright. I think my volume's alright.
Maybe now you're actually talking into it or something.
That's-
But before I couldn't fucking hear a word you were saying when you're playing the game.
I just turned the desktop down and turned the mic up. Bow, 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 bow. There's a Gaz. There is a Gaz.
So an Alistair.
There's also a Mordekaiser. What is this team? Why do we have no ranged?
We haven't got any range like you can take really.
Do I go Heimer?
Indeed, a
Yuck.
wise choice.
That's what I was thinking, yuck. Indeed. Fuck it. I'll go Heimer, I guess. Who are you, Alistair?
When Black Cross didn't even realise I had the skin.
Didn't even realise.
Got quite a lot of Alistair skins actually.
Yeah, I've accumulated quite a lot over the years. Over the solitary year we played this game.
Yes, the single year.
The single year, yes. Yes.
That Chinese geezer crying and then taking a sip of voddy. That was League of Legends.
Yeah.
That new fucking meme.
I like that meme.
It's great. Relatable.
No. Italy are reporting that Alisson has reached a verbal agreement to go to Juventus.
Alisson's going to Juventus.
Verbal agreement, but it is from the Italian press, so it could be a load of bollocks. I'm hoping so.
He doesn't go to a decent club.
I mean, we've got no range, and they seem to have all the range, so no wonder we have no ranged. Because they have it all.
Fucking hell, it's going to be a struggle. Fucking Zillion.
I wish I was fucking
Zillion
Scion
entertainment.
now.
Yeah, you fagged out, mate.
Do I just go ADC?
No, I don't know about that. Because aren't Bessie and Viego's fucking AD? Well, you are literally our only AP. so.
So do I go APC, do I? Joe, do I go Nash's Tooth first? Let's do it! No, I'll go Catalyst of Aeons first. I'll go Rod of Ages. Because I'm a bitch.
AP. They are all AP though.
Oh.
So that's quite cheeky of them, isn't it?
Oh. Well, I think Akali could go either way, but she's chosen AP. Hey, have a turret.
I think she's just AP now, isn't
Have a
she? I
turret.
think the A's of AD are...
Have a no. I said have a turret. Have it. No. Please have a turret. Take it. Take that little turret. Stop bombing my turrets. Get them. Get them all. Yes. I like that skin. That Blackfire skin. Black Frost skin.
Yeah, I'm quite a fan of it.
I'm not sure on the old purple eyebrows you got.
Oh, it's even got a special thing.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Because the Elderwood don't have a special recall.
What?
Actually, no, it does. It
was
doesn't
gonna
have
say.
the dance. Oh, they've got the Nami. Got a bit of silly Billy, haven't I?
Youth and skill.
Complex behavior. Yes. Well, excuse you. Food or try food? Vaccine conundrum.
we have is Jace.
Yes.
But why we have the power of running at them. Have that. Have that bitch!
See something? Learn something.
I didn't know Viego had a dash.
Yeah, his E.
Play nice now. Introduce sporadic cuddling. Social violent responses.
Oh, I did fancy it. That brand's a bit fucking close. If you're feeling tasteful. Oh. Get the fucking triple, lad.
Draconic enzyme.
Oh, why'd you go back in? I fucking killed him, man.
For gigs, you know, just for giggles. I'm going back in. Was literally through my head. I was tempted to play Jump King Quest. Yeah.
Next month I'm going to get that Master of Albion. I reckon I can probably play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the new Fable?
No, it's made by that Peter Molyneux who made the original two, but doesn't work for Lionhead because Lionhead doesn't exist anymore.
Oh. Okay.
But it's not Microsoft. It's like what I think. It's like the God game he always wanted to make but couldn't because he kept making promises and then realised that he couldn't fucking do it. The original Todd Howard.
Okay. Get wrecked, nerd.
I didn't know you
Get wrecked, nerd.
Wanna get wrecked, nerd?
Listen, Cant. You don't want to fuck with me, Cant.
Viego main, I guess.
Oh, would you look at that? You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm just rock. Unless you're scissors. Carly's gonna come for my butt. Ah. Ah. You stay away from my butt, you. She was not a she did not conscribe my butticus. I tell you what, one thing with Heimerdinger, I am so bad at hitting his E. It is insane how bad I am at hitting his E.
Yeah. Yeah,
I just can't.
call you it. OMG, I just can't.
Like, I just can't. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can't.
Oh my god, I just
Oh
can't.
my god, I can't with you.
Oh my god, I just can't.
Oh my god, stop.
Oh
It's
my
giving.
god. I just can't.
Oh my god, it's giving.
It's giving ack.
reptilian morphology, highly dangerous projectiles, and good sounds.
Doot, oot, oo, doo 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 doo. Doo doo, doo 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 doo. I wish Villian would fuck right off. He is a piece of shit, yeah. He's a piece of shit, yeah.
Right. With the Hollow Radiance first, or that, or Kanye Ruken.
Kanye Ruken.
When the fuck? Oh my god.
What's
Why
up?
did my ult cooldown? I haven't fucking used it.
I hate to break it to you, laddie. I think you did.
I will press fucking ult.
Please don't bomb me. Thanks, you wee jabby.
Alright, okay.
Please stop bombing us.
Am I in fucking Palestine?
Sit, stay, and shoot fire! An interesting hypothesis. Who's a good dragon? You are. You're interrupting our class. Keep it down, or you'll be forcefully.
No?
What a riveting turn of events! Huzzah!
Oh my god, fucking move, Jace, you big cunt.
Nice now.
Fucking move!
Move your way, job. The fuck, I've been seeing so much Big Les. I can't help but watch it.
Something. Burn something.
Who's Big Les?
You know Sassy and Big Les?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Have you seen the thing with the banana people? Smash through his
I
window.
haven't been watching any of that, mate.
Oh, mate, it's fucking right up your fucking street, brother.
I know it. What's it on?
I'm just watching clips on Instagram. The banana
It's
like
a joke, isn't it?
he like rolls himself a cigarette, and he's like sipping coffee really calmly and nicely. Like, like it's really weird. And you just see this darkness come behind him through his shadow, and this banana person bursts through and tries to eat him. And he's on top of him and he's punching it. It's going, ah! And his kid of his, Quentin, and he goes, what the fuck? He's like, Quentin, turn on the fucking hose! He's got the hose wrapped around his neck. And as he turns on the hose, it straightens and pops his head.
Is that the one where it's like the thing goes like blah, 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 in front
Yeah,
of you,
yeah,
and he goes,
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
No, it's not that. It's not that. I'm going to punch you in the stomach if you do that one more time.
And then he fucking does it like a season later.
Yeah. I can't get close. They've got so much denial.
Yeah, literally.
If I do collector, if I do collector,
Turrets do it.
surely, right? Because that counts as my damage.
Your damage yeah, I assume so. It's only 5% health though, isn't it?
But still, for turrets, brother, that could be, you know,
For securing kills.
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be a little kill stealer, okay?
I believe in the future of dragonkind.
Ah, I was gonna go with him.
I don't think it takes some enemies, does it?
Yeah, it takes everything.
Going to do great.
I don't think it took enemies. Maybe it does.
Yes, I know.
Woohoo. Lol.
All that without collector. Would you believe it?
Aroma of burnt. I'll be grading your performance.
Why am I so fast? Oh yeah, Jace's little gate thing. Moo.
Interested in, I say, this is highly irregular.
What have I done here? I merely done it because I'm a cow. I didn't think there would be some fucking weebs here.
Avoid swooping. Swooping is bad. You're smart. Good girl.
4v5 there.
Yeah. It's 4v5 with me there, if I'm honest, mate. I'm not gonna bullshit you, brother.
No, I know.
Because what we got: Rise, Nami, Zillion, and Brand that all do damage to my turrets.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Let's go back out there and try again.
I'm gonna die. I'm dead.
Shocker.
Where's the old forcey nature? Oh, Aunt Bessie knows.
Exhaust as well?
Pulling out all the stops against you, mate. Why me all the time? I'm just a silly little Zillion.
It's Carly, man. Carly, he's the fuck up.
Remember the 3Ds? Desensitize, distract, dragonfire.
Ah, boys.
Bow, 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 bow.
Training is the pinnacle of modern dragonology.
Cut off their head. If that doesn't work, throw them into the abyss.
You'd actually love that game. That Claire Obsession, whatever it is, Expedition.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait until I fucking can play it properly.
When is that gonna be, Joe?
It'll be before Fable comes out.
Oh, is that when
I
you're?
couldn't really give a fuck about GTA, but Oh, Fable's the one.
Oh, GTA for multiplayer, mate.
Are you smaller than before? Oh, forget the lessons.
Listen to this tune.
Have worn such combustible clothes. She's gone mad!
Oh my god.
Sit, stay, and shoot fire!
I guess you're hacking. Oh well.
Blood for blood!
Hooray! Damn it. I was doing 0 damage to that fucking Rise. I was just slapping him, I wasn't using me spells, I was just hitting him, doing negative, and I just combo killed that Zillion, then we're back to slapping him. And he was just dancing, just waiting for his mates to kill me, because I couldn't do fucking anything to him. I'm getting Titanic.
Can't do anything.
Oh, I'm tickling the gun.
So there's one that I sent you of Big Les. He's talking to some guy, and he's like, "How many of those white bells cap flowers did you eat, mate?" He's like, "What do you mean? I ate a few of them. Why? How many did you eat?" He goes, "What do you fucking mean? I ate enough. I'm a proper bush tucker. I've been eating plants and shit. I made it all the way to the desert. Fuck you, mate. You've walked 100 paces. You're still near the tracks." What? And it fucking goes back to where he actually is, and he's like next to Pat going, you fucking cunt, fucking yeah. If I get some avocados, mate, avocados. It's just fucking so good. It fucking kills me.
Here comes the big one!
They all run away before I can do. I just died to Brand combo, and I'll bounce off everyone and just kill me.
Let's get the Titanic, I might have a fucking fighting chance.
What do you mean it was my fault?
Are we doing an extra 200 damage per hit? That should do something.
Oh, there's all season 1 to 4 on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube, is it?
Does anyone understand how hard it is to find a fireproof veterinarian?
That's some tidy stuff.
I thought my next item should be. I'm gonna go light and dark. Fuck it. Gives me 30 bonus magic on hit.
Be careful with that. True ice.
Stop chewing my hair.
I just want to get out of here.
Wet food or dry food? A perplexing conundrum. See something? Burn something. Play nice now.
Yeah, well, luckily they were they never respawned.
You like that?
There we go.
Got it.
Right. Spirit or Warmogs? That's the question. I'll go Warmogs, fuck it. I've already got 72% magic resist. I don't see how much a Spirit's going to add to it, because it adds less, doesn't it? The higher you get, so.
Fighters elsewhere.
Introduce sporadic coloring. Subdue violent responses. What? Are we killing someone? At the base? Training in the field.
I almost killed that brand.
Nah, yeah, there's.
I sent you a link, Joe, when you got after this game.
Fucking 2 mangoes going for $2 $5.
2 mangoes go 2 for 4. It's a fucking bargain.
Mangoes, $5. Get like 40 of them, can't. $50.
Get like 40 of them, can.
Go back out there and try again.
For the greatest battle of your lives.
Now, class, remember the rules. Shoot them with fire until they stop moving. I'm not
Damn it.
queen of the monsters. Grow another 2 heads and we'll talk.
Your cardio makes me sick.
Iconic enzymes, highly flammable.
Oh my god, look at my health.
Oh, you made them all crispy. You're not a luck dragon. You're a Shuriman King.
I reduced myself down to a Carly's level.
What'd you do?
They said they come in peace, and I said peace must be lucky.
You know, we may require a new training regimen.
Oh, please end it before the fucking enemy gets respawned. Yeah, it's not going to end.
Dragons are highly food motivated.
I'm coming.
Know you're hungry, you're always
I'm
hungry.
coming to kill it.
You're going to do great. I'll be grading your performance. Remember what we practiced.
I got it. I'm coming. I got it. As much as that was a vibe, I'm not adding them. I'm not adding absolutely anyone in that game.
Oh, fuck that.
Although they did laugh when I said putting on the Burger King crown.
Did you get a couple of lols in chat?
I did, mate. I got some fucking hyper lols. Yep, D was expected.
Fucking D.
I did. That was one of the worst games of my life. 3 stacks will slow ya. I touched my bug zapper today, Joel, not knowing it was like still on because I turned it off and it electrocuted me.
The time has come to prune the tree.
What?
I got like a bug racket
Oh, right, okay.
and I pressed it on and left it off and then I touched it and it well hurt. Oh, there's vein.
It doesn't stay on, does it?
It stayed on for a couple of seconds. There's a vein, Joel.
Oh.
There's a vein. Oh.
Oh.
I wanted a place, mate.
Oh, well, no.
Wake up, lad, lumber.
You want style? You found her.
You want style? You found her. But we got a lot of ADCs. And we
No
got
tanks.
no time. We have a duck with a knife.
No tanks! Huh?
We have a duck with a knife.
Are you a duck?
No, but we have a duck with a knife.
That Arctic one, you look hella lesbian.
We're trying to say.
So like, you look like a lesbian.
What is it that you are trying to say? My rodent booty is a lesbian.
Yeah, like you eat other rodent ass, but it's female.
It could be worse. Varys, Zack, Brand, Zed, and Echo.
Oh,
I'm not going to enjoy this game.
me likey. Zed's gonna be a bit annoying.
What does Zack, Varys, Brand on?
Where he'll instantly blow my fucking pussy right up. What am I?
Dragon.
Fair.
A child.
Do you wanna be my donkey?
No. I don't.
Oh, Shrek.
I'm a star, you baby. I'll tell you what,
Everyone loves Poppy.
if you haven't got a back scratcher, I strongly suggest get one.
I could just reach me back.
I can reach my back. I'm just saying, I strongly suggest getting one.
A butt scratcher. Now we're talking.
Butt scratcher.
Butt scratcher here.
Butt scratcher. Butt scratcher.
Anybody for a butt scratching?
I don't know what first item to get.
Oh my god!
Mystery
Up
solved.
with the knife. Phase fracking.
Come back if you need more.
Got a duck. Duck with a
No,
knife.
you're really small, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I just heard Echo say he'll poke my eye out. And I died.
I hope the festival remains.
Popped an his egg with a snowball.
It shouldn't really do that much damage level 4, should it?
Big targets are the
Huh?
best. There's more to
Just a brand combo got me to this health.
Huh.
for Ionia.
Doesn't help I'm dead slow.
Hope to see you again soon.
We just need the Anivia and the Vel'Koz to start clearing waves.
Yeah. Or just level 6. Decent. Huh? Fucking hell.
They've got so much pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got a weird amount of poke as well, which is like Varus and Brand and even the Echo Shield and stuff. We haven't got anything yet. I mean, we're quite late game. Oh, are we? I suppose me and Cogmore, we're fucking late.
Yeah. I'm level 6 onwards. Look at that little Jins.
Stay safe out there.
I am Cease. So they're going to play around that now. Cogmore's going AD, which is good.
Thing is, with the potential of him just literally getting targeted and butt fucked every
Enjoy the
team
festivities.
fight, it might have actually been worth him going AP.
Nah, I think he had to go AP, mate. AD with our team. It's just
Yeah,
you,
with
it's
our
just
team,
you.
it would definitely be more helpful. Yeah.
I mean, if he can sit back with Hurricane and just absolutely be a lad.
Yes. It's being able to, and that's. Fuck Cogmore, mate. I can't fucking do anything. Does he explode quicker, that fucking Cogmore?
I'm not sure.
He seems to. Like, his passive seems to wear off well quick then. Right, okay. Hopefully just get away from me. Everyone fuck off.
Okay. Do you think Malignance would be good? I do have a wasted stat in the mana, but
Quite, yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
I'm gonna go it for my old.
Yeah, might as well, mate.
Let's do it.
3 stacks of
I
slow.
mean,
yeah.
let's be honest, you're only really
No, but
helpful when you got your ult, innit?
Yeah.
So anything to give that more is probably best.
Targets are the best. There's more to aim at.
big targets are the best. There's more to aim at. Oh, that Zac looks cool when he gets big in that skin. That's a weird Varus ult. Alright, Echo no stun. Me dead. I got Brand stun. I was about to go in.
It's nowhere safe.
Could have killed them both easy with my ult, but I was like, nah. I gotta save that.
I'll die.
Yeah,
Without using it.
that's fine.
Oh my god, the fucking Zed, mate. Might get fucking Zonyas. Fuck this.
I mean, you do have AP scaling.
Two of my spells. I don't know what the scaling is either.
Much about Ionia I wish to learn. Do you have a moment?
Need you. We got sunshine.
And I need you more than ever. Let me start my queue, you cunt.
Listen here, cat.
He's just gonna fuck me. Yeah. Like that.
He
I
didn't
haven't
get
really
the
got
penta.
enough to- Yeah, it's because Zed killed me. Well, now that is ballsy, Cockmo. I'll give you that, bud. I'll fucking give you that.
He's giving
Fuck
him
it,
it.
I'm going in. Yeah, okay, cool.
Everyone loves magical Trevor, cause the tricks that he does are ever so clever. Look at him now, disappearing the cow. Where is the cow? Hidden right now.
Thank you for the follow, Mauricio. Yeah, get fucked, Zed. Get fucked, Zed. Thank you for the follow, Mauricio.
I expect you to die, Mr. Bond.
Yes.
You'll make the festival more exciting with that.
Right.
What a banger. What an
Is it
absolute
Zed?
bangor.
It's always said.
He is here.
Then I shall not.
I really dislike Brand. Brand.
Wait.
I do have Ultimate.
We'll fucking get on
I
there.
have Slicing Maelstrom.
Oh, fuck off. Oh, what a pussy-o.
Thing is, I can't go in from long range because you guys, well, are like literally geriatrics. You can't follow up. Kennen was the wrong choice.
Yeah, said that me. It doesn't matter what happens, right? They just ultimately kills me.
Yep. Nothing we can do. I almost pressed surrender then because this is so insufferable.
Yeah, this ain't the one, I don't think.
It ain't the one. Hopefully they just end. Hey, Bangor.
You just killed me with that. How have you just used your ult? Oh. End it, Zed. Come on. These pussies can't do anything
somehow,
to you, mate.
somehow he queued me while being stunned. There's that.
You're better than all these losers, Zed. Kill us all. Kill us all.
Yeah, I bet you
Kill us
can't.
all and end it.
I bet you can't end it, Zed.
Come on, Zed. I bet you can't end it, man. Loser.
Deliver me, Zed. Deliver me. Deliver me.
Give me the retribution I deserve.
Keep an eye out for any mysteries.
Yeah, Zed just deleted me.
Yeah. Yeah, he does that.
So bad. We got badness.
No!
Just end it.
Please, no!
Deliver us. There we go. There we fucking go.
Woohoo!
Wahoo!
Get me out.
An A+ for that. Jesus. Cannons are not playing well.
My god, they aren't.
By God.
Oh, I didn't even look at stats either.
Well done, mate. I just got rid.
Fuck that.
Just got rid.
Justice
Yo,
takes
mate.
wing.
Right.
I wish that Ash was on the other team.
Untwiggable.
One to cut.
I haven't got a skin for Yone.
Yeah. Oh, it's only Yona, yeah.
I have
How
no
many has he had?
skin. A few. One,
Obviously you fucking
2,
play him, mate.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 skins.
Warlord, Pulsefire, or Psyops?
Let's go for a Psyops, mate. Cheeky Psyops.
Nah,
Also, I don't think I've ever played him.
no, I don't think you have.
He's just Yasuo's brother. How hard could it be? Let's roll the sleeves up for this bad boy. Viego, Ari, Yi, Diana. A level 38 Ari.
What's their team? Sorry. Ari, Viego, Diana, AP, AD, AP, KSI, AD. Right. Papi Sol.
We were against that. We were against that Choco Spee last time, and that's Papa Soul.
Were we?
Yeah. I remember. I am going to go that.
Okay, cool. Long stuff again. Oh, there they got Viego.
Oh. I was like, I swear we had the Alistair.
I thought we did as well.
We do, but they got Viego, like you said.
Oh.
2 down.
Fucking hell, I just got with me, yeah. Haven't we got the Alistair? Oh no.
I haven't got the damage yet.
KSI's going AD, it seems.
Oh, I'm gonna spray all over you. I'm
Hey.
gonna spray all over you.
Oh god.
Bow, 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 bow.
If only. If you managed to kill her then.
It would have been legendary, wouldn't it?
It would have been Bamboozle, the Maximus.
She's 6-0.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
Fucking dying.
She tried executing, but I was the last person to hit her, so she gave me the kill.
Good.
That is good. Oh no.
Yeah, you go. What's going on here?
That was my own fault. I went too far. I flew too close to the sun.
Definitely get a Bramble Vest.
Honor once bound me.
Ah! I thought the turret shot was going to kill me. We stopped the penta.
Yeah, not that arsed.
I did things. Oh, that LeBlanc.
Oh fuck me! Oh fucking hell! We thought we had one.
At least you followed me up, mate. Yes.
Oh fuck me! It's you.
What's me?
The Viego was you.
Oh. He took
You
me.
killed me.
He took me, did he?
He tied you up in the chains of reality.
This is the most overstimulating game you've ever seen. This is the first time I played this champion. I got a slight idea of what I'm doing. But not really.
I'd argue that's false.
Hey, I said slight.
Yeah. I know.
That's a dozen.
Do you mean in general, or do you mean just League?
I keep seeing Mr. Cogs.
What,
that
on that
fucking Master
that-
Yi.
Yeah, it's because of the X. For some reason.
They just do so much damage.
They do. Yeah, get fucked, Viego.
Oh yes, the block's going in.
Save me! And we got them both because we're fucking G's like that. Oh, you've never played League? It gets a lot easier the more you try. Like, the more you play it. In team fights, I have to hold spacebar so I know where I am. And I've played this game 12 years. He killed me, now he is me.
Yeah. Goodbye.
That LeBlanc is 0 and 8.
I think it's a bot.
It's gotta be.
I'll be honest.
So many mysteries to explore.
I was like, wow, I was gonna. He fucking evaded my ult by turning into his.
And 70. Wow.
This Alice is pretty bad.
I mean, as a tank, mate, he's just getting obliterated. It's just... Yeah, I don't think it's even his fault, honestly. I'd love to slam him for being shit.
He
but
does keep going in. Oh, you were so close. She's got 18 kills.
Storm of blades. Steel gale. The hunt.
One complaint. I wish he had his ultimate more. Wish it wasn't such a high cooldown. 100 seconds.
What is it though?
100 seconds.
No, but what is it though? What is your ult?
It's that line strike knock up. It does magic and physical damage.
Oh. Do you see what I'm on about? LeBlanc being a bot. Because
Yeah.
it was just attacking minions there, and I was getting absolutely bummed by thingy.
Yeah.
LB bot or fucking wank.
Gotta be a bot.
Yeah, that's a bit bot. Can't
Storm of blades.
I saved you, Ash.
Sleep is not for the weak, but for the blessed. Piercing wind.
Oh, fucking Yi just landed on me and killed me. Jesus. I mean, I don't think diving was the best thing there. I don't know why we all did that.
I'll tell you what happened. LeBlanc went in.
Oh, did you?
thought she was bot.
Okay.
So I just thought, oh fucking, I saw someone go in, I thought, well, I'm not fucking passing this up. Forgetting it was the fucking paraplegic.
The clanker.
The fucking circuit back.
That was his ult. Can be pretty good.
Nice flash, pal.
Piercing winds. Sometimes to save someone.
He's like a more safe Yasuo.
Yeah, because you have a back.
Storm of blades.
Like, if I knew how to use it properly, he'd be a menace.
Probably fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like timings and stuff. Fucking Diana.
Oh, hello. I think Alistair, they were trying to click on Ash, but Alistair's so fucking fat that they couldn't click on her. So she was just wailing away.
I believe I've got 100%
He was
crit.
not the fucking big gingerbread man in Shrek 2. That's
Right.
literally what he fucking was there.
I've got 100% crit, and I'm gonna go. There's no point me going blade. Shield bow. No point going shield bow either.
May this be a warning to others.
Maybe go back. Thank you. Save my booty hole. From my ninja.
Man ninja, man ninja.
He wants to
When
queue.
he does, if I can click on you, then I love you. But if that Alistair gets in the fucking way, I can't.
He's coming for me, Joe. Sitting is the opposite of standing. Sitting is the opposite of running around. Sitting is a wonderful thing to do. He does have blade. Sitting is in fact the opposite of standing. Goodbye, Flappy. Oh, Ash was there. Oh, Ash's build. It's a one hit. Okay.
Yeah, that shouldn't do too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why they're there.
MGK's done a new song with Fred Durst, and Fred Durst is just the hype man for the entire song.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
He like barely does anything.
I don't know how I feel about that. My boy Freddie D.
Remember, that's the bot, Trev.
I know.
Don't get fucking teased.
Don't you bonk me, sir. I would like to catch that by sir.
Trouble though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat
Piece of shit for breakfast. No.
No.
Oh no, Alistair, you were doing so well. Just about taught her.
LeBlanc got a kill. I can see myself being good with Yone, by the way. Oh, Ash, you have messed up. You could have just stayed alive, Ash.
Oh, Ash.
Oh,
Oh, Ashy, you could have just stayed alive.
could have just stayed alive, you know? You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm just made of rock. Unless you're scissors. Sorry! Oh no. Oh god. I'm sorry.
You just thrown this game.
I have. I wanted the flower. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Also, I don't know why I bought a Jack show. Can I just sell that and get something I actually would use?
Everything I sell is waterproof, or if not, water absorbent. Right then, back to my business.
You're mine now.
Diego is near. Oh. Come on, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
Lovely stuff.
Beautiful. Just so you know, this game is free to play.
Not sponsored,
Not sponsored. Hashtag right for life.
but wish to be.
Always wish to be. I got rid of the Yi. Suck it, Yi. It's like it spat you out. It said no. No. So I can delete the Yi. Full combo. Okay. Okay.
Okay, pal.
Okay, pal.
Every time it's no less strange, no less painful.
I've got a
Yeah,
Yasuo.
I'll be honest.
I've got a Yasuo hat on, and I feel good about it.
Saw someone go in, ulted him, fucking LeBlanc on it.
Stop fucking doing that. No, Alistair. Don't fall for it.
Some days
Splash as well. Oh, okay. Got far you come.
Getting Ravenous Hydra was definitely the right choice at the end there. Full crit with Ravenous Hydra was ridiculous job.
Yeah, the sustain, I think, is probably pretty jokes, isn't it?
Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Fucking look at that.
S plus on my first Yone. Oh, there's Yone way back now. There's no way Yone now. Do we do one more? Do I do one more?
See who we get.
Okay.
Although that doesn't matter, because I got Smolder, Shen and Alistair, and I've had no fun on any of them fucking champs.
You didn't have fun in that last game?
Not as fucking Shen on that.
Oh, I had fun. Dead man walking.
Did a lot of time.
Varus.
I've only got 2, and there's 2 shittest skins.
It makes me feel like I should go Xin Zhao.
Xin Zhao. Why?
Because we need a.
Go tank.
Yeah, but we need a bruisey bruise.
Graves is kind of a bruisey bruise.
Okay.
I'm wearing like a fucking thermal vest as like a little PJ top after bath, yeah. Well, after shower. And I used to use it for work, so I had like expanding foam on it, and like it's came off eventually in like the wash and scraped off and that. But it's left like this white residue, and it looks like I've just cummed up my arm. It's like I've literally just used
All
it
right.
as a cum
All right.
fucking piss.
All right. All right. It looks
There's
like it.
expanding foam, honest.
Oh,
Mum,
Connor's
Mum,
back
it's
in the game.
expanding foam.
Connor's back in the game, and he's Kai'Sa again.
Yeah, Connor's back in the bath and he's coming.
Yeah. He's Kai'Sa again.
Talon, Heisai.
Same guy.
Fuck.
Mr. Gret. Mr. Gret X.
Who's that?
The same guy as last game. He was Kai'Sa. He said, "What?" He came up his arm and wiped it on his t-shirt, and even though he's washed it loads, it hasn't come out.
Oh, I didn't say that.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, sure, why not actually?
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck it.
lean into it.
Yeah, come up my arm, could come out in the wash.
It's Jizzy Cats, and his brother, when he was taking a bath, slipped once, and he had to get a hip replacement because he slipped on his own jizz
In the bath.
in the bath, and he's adopted.
No, he's definitely not. Good man. Good man, Trev. Good man for keeping that alive.
Mr. Cox will never know. That battle boss Belveth is pretty good. Kind of looks like Broly. Broly vibes.
Battle boss Belveth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good skin.
Got
We have.
we got, oh, that's fucking Belveth.
Yeah. It's got the Broly crown.
She's got some fucking wham shoulders, you know.
Wham. Skinner 2. Oh no, not
She only
Skinner.
does shoulder press. Shoulder press.
Who am I? Various.
Handsome young man, mate. That's what you are.
Stop it.
Psych, old man.
Wow. Wow. You build me up just to tear me down. I feel so slow.
Yeah, you are, aren't you, Varus?
How do I play Varus now?
Just W, and then use your Q. If you use basic attacks, pop them with your E. I think a fully charged Q does more damage, but you always want to use a W with your Q.
Oh, they've got the bot.
Yes! Is that the same guy then?
It looks like
Oh,
it.
it is!
So not only have they got a bot, they've also got a Yanata. A Renata.
Oh, Trevi, darts. Suck and fucking buckle.
Suck 'em fucking robots, mate.
How does Koshin fare these days, I wonder? If only I could pay it one more visit.
Here he comes.
It's the botty.
Feed me, bot.
Maybe he's not a bot and it's someone who had an account and has now been in a car crash and can't use any of their limbs.
What, and only drinks Red Bull?
Yeah. Well, G Fuel.
Just because it gives you the shits, mate.
Apart from PewDiePie, has it given a flavour to someone who wasn't a pedo?
KSI.
Fair.
The Swedish gummy fish was my favourite.
I never had it.
My favourite by miles. I'd have that every day if I could.
Was it you who stopped using it out of principle?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, them shields. Thank you.
Just trying to do the right there. No! If you get collector and just wiped out a fucking team, that would have been so cunty.
That would have been so fucking... If I got the kills, I would have been up for. The Epstein G Fuel's sick. The bot killed me.
Yeah, bot killed me as well.
Epstein G Fuel.
Oh, God, triple.
The Epstein G Fuel. What's the flavour? I'm going to go crit. I'm not going to go where everyone else goes on Varus. I'm going to be different.
I quite like crit build on him.
I'm going to go my usual build of every other ADC. Hurricane, it is. Epstein G Fuel.
Fucking Timmy Tough Knuckles over here. Fucking going
Epstein G Fuel, mate. Salt, the salt of kids. Salt of the kids' tears.
Yeah, I reckon so. Maybe it's just like Dino Nuggies and fucking
Dino.
Potato Smiley.
And fucking orange squash.
Yeah. Calypso.
I like it. Calypso. Long Island.
Oh, wouldn't mind getting a pack of that, you know. If it tastes like a Long Island.
What you're saying? I hear you. I was about to use my ult on that bot then. I'll take my flash and reposition. The new Diddy baby oil flower is coming soon. I heard it gives you the runs though. That's the only problem with that.
Okay, only the flavors give me the runs.
Diddy sitting in a prison cell now. Diddy's getting diddled by the diddler. Diddy's getting diddled by the diddler.
What are they? AD, AP, they're all AP apart from Kaiser. I'm not bothering with fucking talent. He can fucking go what he likes.
It's fair. But I'm sorry. I used collector on Mel. Diddy is a little diddler. Diddy's a little bit of diddler. Diddy's gonna get diddled by everyone. Diddy's gonna hit the Big Terry. Yeah, Diddy's gonna meet Big Terry. Diddy's gonna become Sweet Pea. She hit my Q back at me, the little hoe.
He's loyal. I'm a big fan of that Bell skin.
It's fucking, I think it's quite nice. Like,
Yeah.
Is that chroma they got on as well, the blue and white one?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that. I think because in the splash art that was just the color scheme of it. So I think that might actually just be standard.
It might be standard?
He might be standard.
It might be standard. Report talent, please. I don't want him. He's our friendly bot.
I hate him.
I just assassinated Carthus because he deserved it. I'm a legend. Goodbye, Kaiser.
Fuck off, Trev.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Put the fries in the fucking bag. Right.
No, I don't want to die to him again.
Yeah, put the fries in the fucking bag. She's trying to assassinate me.
He's trying to assassinate me.
She's got the mark on me.
I'm going in.
He's going in. Ah. Ah.
Going in for the culture.
She'd go in. You go in on that one, yeah. You don't in that. What a pussy hole.
Oh no, ain't on it. Get Bramble as a.
Get fucked. No, get fucked. Out. Oh yeah, no, that was just very stupid of you. That you should have given me all the health.
I'm going Titanic.
He's going Titanic. He is. Everybody, it's Titanic.
Oh no.
She just shot you with both cannons.
Oh, I'd like to see her cannons.
Yeah. Yucky.
Yuck.
Hey, that's fucking yuck, that lad.
She unloaded on me.
Oh, lucky.
All over my chin.
Lucky. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare to get out of your beard.
Yep. It was a case of, can you see me? But he got me in the end. I'm going to wait until I have enough for a BF sword. A big fucking sword.
Some lessons cannot be passed from teacher to student. They must be experienced.
One day I'll do a stream of just sounding like Arnie. It'll be one of the most difficult streams I'll ever do.
One of the easiest, right? That's just how you sound. I'm wondering when you're going to give up the facade and stop using this voice you're using now.
Well, I'd just become the inner Austrian. But I know I am.
Yeah.
I'll start calling you Jamie, though, out of respect.
Jamie!
Oh, Jamie! Fucked.
Oh. Come on.
You're fucked.
You little fiend.
I ain't forgot about you either. They're all mine.
Get this guy off of me! Pretty plot talent.
The fountain killed me, yeah. Pulse. Ravage. Big dubs. Yeah.
That was 4v5, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
Like,
we had that a minute ago, so
I know, we still fucking won.
we didn't. Did we? With Yoni? Oh, we did. No, we did.
Yeah, we did win.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, look at us two S+ babies.
I'm honouring that talent. Well, I did a lot of Marge. That's all we get, mate. That's why we've got 2 S's. That's why we're both S's, boys. See, if you look here, I've got an S token. Means I'm a master. 3% of players have that. And Flabby Cats is one of those 3%. That is how locked in we are. You see?
Talking about asses.
Obtain champion skins. I'm a connoisseur. Collect legacy champion skins. I'm a connoisseur. I only have a few skins. I've only played this for...
He's trying to do maths. He's trying to do maths. His name is Trevi. He's trying to do maths.
Do you know I don't have any exalted skins or transcendent skins?
I don't even know what they are, mate.
Nor do I.
Fucking woke nonsense, that shit, mate.
Transcendent skin is Legend, Ari, and Kaiser. They look weird. Exalted skins move in their splash arts. And there's only one that I'd want, and that is the Morgana. But I already have Morgana's best skin, so I don't need it. Are you going to partake in the next Battle Pass, Joe?
Huh?
You going to partake in the next Battle Pass?
I don't know, mate. Probably not.
I don't know what the skin's going to be. The only reason I didn't get it this time was because it's bloody Zeref and Sona. But
I don't even. What is the battle? How do you even check the battle pass?
it's the little sword thing at the top in the middle.
Oh right, okay.
But there is corrupted Petrocyte Maokai that looks sick.
Where am I at? Oh, am I at?
I'm at
it.
I'm at the end. Yeah, I'm at the end. But level 8, you get. Yeah, it's fucking nice skin.
Oh, that might be worth it, you know.
It's literally, I'm like convincing myself with all the orbs and that you get as well.
What I don't know what Maokai I have though.
Yeah, Maokai, don't you?
What Maokai skins have I got?
You got Meow. You got Meow. Meow.
Oh yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't really need one though.
Who's the guy with the mic?
Maokai. What?
One of us, or are you talking about?
Chocky Meek. Oh no, I think she's on about Steak, mate.
Oh, you're on about our boy Steak. You on about Steaky Boy? Are you on about the most attractive pro there's been in League of Legends?
Fucking big up Steak.
Big up Steak. Big up the Steak. He's our boy. When is the first time I ever bought skin? That definitely wasn't my first skin.
Have it by time, don't you? Put it by time.
I don't think I can I?
Yeah, of course you can.
My collection. Oh, there we go. My first skin was Riot Girl Tristana on the 4th of September 2012.
That's because it was free with Facebook, wasn't it?
It was a free one, yeah. It was my first ever skin. Super Teemo was my second skin. Then Varus came out. And then I bought two Kennons, Heimerdinger Blast Zone, because it was probably cheap. Oh, I actually purchased Wodash. That's horrendous.
Disgusting.
That's horrendous. $2012.
2011.
Fuck you.
My first 3 skins were just free ones.
Yeah.
Because it was Unchained Alistair, Riot Girl, and Judgment Kale.
I got that within the same month, I believe. It's always tempting to get the Battle Pass, because they're not skins you can get again. And I think...
So they get you though.
Yeah, I know it's how you get it.
But they're fucking shit. I mean...
Playing me like a fiddle.
Like the Sona one couldn't give less of a fuck about.
But I haven't got a good Sona skin, though. That's what I'm
Malzahar
like.
one's kind of take. Oh, Zeraf. I've got good. See, I've got good Zeraf skins.
I haven't got a good Zera skin.
Actually, saying that, what do I? No, because I got Infernal.
I've only got the battle cast one, and it's poopy. See, the Maokai skin is nice. It is.
I've only got Zeraf, and I got him. Fuck me. I've only got Zeraf. I've only got Scorched.
I mean,
Maybe it is worth
it's
getting it.
only 1650.
Yeah, what's that in like sterling?
Well, it'll be the 20 quid one, won't it? So,
Oh, right, yeah.
20 quid.
Leave you something to play with.
And leaves you something to play with as well. If you've never played League, the skins are addictive,
Pucker.
to say the least. And they've brought out these little mini games for shit now as well. Like, oh, get Mythic Essence. This came out after I was getting loads of Mythic Essence. Because I used to get the orbs. That Space Groove Nami, though. The splash arts for League are they're just ridiculous. Fucking giant pug.
Cogmore. That'd be Pugmore, wouldn't it?
Yeah. My favourite skin at the moment is definitely Surprise Party Vex. Fucking love that skin.
Didn't know you into that.
I love that skin. Try and make that weird. I didn't let you.
I was making it weird, yeah.
I didn't let you.
I was actively making it weird.
I didn't let you. Union Jack Fiddlesticks. Mythmaker Irelia is sick. I've actually got a Hui skin now. I don't like any of the Empyrean skins. I think their splash arts look sick in game. They look gash. They're all dark in game and it just doesn't look right.
Whoa!
Teapot, Cafe Cuties Bard. This skin is only a battle pass skin, and when she recalls, she turns into a stained glass window. I love it. Lynn loves this skin. She loves the Prestige Miss Morgana skin.
It does look good, yeah.
Yeah, BMO is just fucking kawaii as fuck. Kawaii. Oh, you missed out on the Mecha Kingdom Skarna, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't get that, mate.
Oh, that was the battle pass. That's one of the reasons why I got it.
Well, I was only playing TFT until they got rid of Hyper Roll. Now go fuck itself, so.
Yeah. I don't have.
Nah, I'm kind of against battle passes, if I'm honest.
I don't mind them. There's only 2 Wukong skins I don't have. One of them I really don't want. Elderwing. Oh, Elderwood I want. But...
Oh, Elderwing.
Battle Academia. I do not want. Finishes. Oh. Pluma. I have so many damn chromas. And on that bombshell, that's me done for tonight. Stream every Wednesday and every Saturday. And sometimes me and Fabby Cats play really funny games like Jump King Quest. Sometimes we play League and lose every game.
That's the most common one.
Anyway. Thank you for watching more show. More shro. It's like mushroom. Mushroom. Mushroom.
More shrooms.